Good evening, and welcome to Let's Chop It Up. I'm your host, Damon Owsley. This is my very first, I guess it's going to be a podcast. Topic of the day is, here is gun owners, right? Black gun owners. So, came to my attention that a young black man was pulled over. He was armed. Thankfully, they didn't kill him for that, because that will happen. And he informed the police officer that he had a weapon. Right? It was 4 young men in the car, young gentlemen in the car, black men. All of them were carrying. In Oklahoma, it's legal to carry. You don't have to you can just go buy a gun, right? Now, why these 4 men? And they're decent young men, working young men, a couple of entrepreneurs. But we live in a society where they feel that you have to carry a gun everywhere you go. I fought when I was a kid. These men are in their 20s, early to mid 20s. So they get pulled over. And they were arrested for being intoxicated with a firearm. See, they couldn't arrest him for having a firearm, couldn't take it from him, but they arrested him for being intoxicated with a firearm. None of them drink, right? They wasn't given a sobriety test. They didn't have to blow into anything. They didn't have to walk, feet in front, test it, I'ma fail, period. The walking with the nose, touch your nose, hands out. They wasn't given any of that. All they were was arrested, had to taken to the county, charged, bonded out, court date. And I hope the young men, I hope the body camera and the dash camera's on. And as I was speaking to one of the young men, his argument was they didn't give me, which he intelligent kid because he was raised right. And so he didn't get into an argument with them, but he was more or less, why? Well, one, I always told these young men, don't have court on the streets, right? Because you're going to lose that every time. It's inconveniencing you, but still it's going to be the same results. They're going to arrest you. They're going to lock you up. I may be wrong for this, but as a black man, I feel, and I always have felt, that they want to shoot us. They want to kill us. I've always felt that way, ever since I've been an adult. That's what, thankfully I've made it. But, and a lot of us haven't. And in Oklahoma, I don't know. I'm not looking at any sheets or anything, statistics. There's not that many police murders, shootings of unarmed people, there are too many, but they're not, because first of all, it's only 1 million people in Tulsa and the surrounding area. I think it's 3 million in the whole state. Most cities have 3 million people in just the city, so that could be the case. And we kind of do. We got a black police chief, and we kind of do a pretty good job of having blacks police officers in this community. But it is oversaturated with young white, always looking for something. But it's kind of toned down. I don't know. I'm in the house all the time. I'm making TikToks and now podcasts. So I'm not privy to what's going on after dark. I'm not a vampire. So yeah. So be careful, young men. They are, if they don't shoot you, now they're charging you with frivolous charges, fake charges that you're gonna have to fight. And they're hoping that, I'm talking about my son, by the way, but we're gonna fight it. Even though I don't, keep your gun at home, man. Defend your family, protect your family at home. I don't talk smack to the person that cussed me off. Hey, they trying to get somewhere quicker than I am. And when I cut somebody off, and they talk smack to me, I go into the apology. I apologize, my fault, because I don't carry a weapon out there in the streets, I believe the police would shoot me for having one, period, and say I pulled it on them, whatever. They might not, but I believe it. I have police friends, black police officer friends, and they'll say different, but and some of them keep it 100. Pretty much they all keep it 100, but they don't see what we see. There was another incident with my son, right? My son, a few years ago, got in an altercation. A white gentleman, ex-police officer, accosted him, right? It's on video. It was on YouTube. I seen it on YouTube. Somebody sent me 3 o'clock in the morning, send me a YouTube video. Well, the from the beginning to the end, the whole thing. So we knew it happened. We knew it caused it and everything. Well, the white police officer, there was a fight, and we know, between a black and I thought he was white. So, but they said later on said he was Latino, Mexican, or Guatemalan or whatever. And the brother that was fighting didn't want to fight. He kept on walking away. The Latino kept on accosting his brother, just kept on getting up on him. And the brother said, okay, gave him what he wanted. Crowds around, these kids, this is still in high school. And white guy got out the car, came up. The brother didn't want to fight, so when they said break it up, the brother immediately backed off, and the Latino was still aggressive. White police officer, ex-police officer, walked directly to the white boy, to the black guy, pushed him. Did nothing, which we see this all the time. We know this happened. Well, these young black guys, my son included, oh, why you do that? Getting all into the police officer's face, but at a distance, to where the ex-police officer had to come forward to try to touch my son. Well, my son, raised by me, wrestled, know how to box, know how to defend himself, knocked his hands down. Guy came back at my son, because my son was like, why you do that? Guy came back at my son at his throat, all on video. So my son did what he did, and pushed him like, okay, knocking you down and get you and stop you, because you can't stop me from talking. So I'm gonna get you up off me. Oh man, they went crazy. The guys, the ex-police officer's son was filming it. Put it on YouTube. They instantly attacked my son. On social media, and not physically, because because I'm sitting here today, and threatened them and all that. Of course, I did mine. Well, hey, I gave my address out. Come on to us. Here we are. I sent him to his mom, and we was waiting. And of course, nobody showed up because they would have put me in the penitentiary, because I would have let them out anyway. So, but my son got arrested for assault on that guy, right? And we're sitting there looking at I'm looking at the video well, it was juvenile, so it was a juvenile, whatever situation it was. I had to go talk to a juvenile lady. But anyway, so we're sitting there with the juvenile lady, and they only let one parent in at a time. So his mother and I, so I sent his mother in there because she said, I don't want you going in there because you're going, you right? As long as you got this video. So she comes back out and says, go in there. So I go in there, I'm just listening. I don't care what they're saying because, I'm just listening. But at the end of it, she tells my son, if he apologizes to the accoster, to the guy, adult who just assaulted a minor, they would, lessen the, whatever. I looked at my son, I said, hold on. If he apologizes, you're going to arrest me for child abuse. I'm going to bust him up. F y'all. F the guy, blah, blah, blah. I'm going through all this. Well, of course, he was charged. Now, I went off. It's been years ago. I don't remember exactly what I said, but, they understood. My point was made. And so I had to get a lawyer. Had to call, my black electives senators and councilmen and all this. Anyway, the video made it to the prosecuting attorney, and the charges were dropped. But why were they filed? Now, I'm saying I want to press charges against the white guy. Man, when I tell you, man, don't do that. What you mean don't do that? And me, I hate to this day that I didn't press charges against him. Let it die down. I let it go. Man, I hate that. I apologize to my son all the time because I was willing to, go a different route. But I hate that I didn't press charges on this ex-police officer. It's on YouTube, so don't remember. It was a quick trip in Owasso. Go look it up. About I don't know, 16, 17, somewhere like that. His senior year, 18. No, 17. So anyway, hey man, that's just, my little first run at this, sitting in front of this camera talking to people. So I'm gonna edit it. You probably won't even see this part. And put it out there. Like I said, thanks for chatting with me, chopping it up. I'm Damon Owsley, and this is Chopping It Up with Damon Owsley.